In the heart of Neo-Centura, a glowing silver hospital tower stood high above the city slums. Inside, the emergency room buzzed with cold machines, whispering nurses, and blinking lights. It smelled of metal and plastic. Marla pushed through the heavy glass doors with her son, Jameer, cradled in her arms. He was only 6. His skin burned with fever, and his tiny body shook. Her clothes were worn, her eyes tired. No one looked at her. "Help, please," she said softly. "My son, he's sick." A front desk robot rolled forward, scanned her old ID, then beeped coldly. "Low-tier citizen, no guardian profile." "Wait." Marla's lips trembled. "He needs help now." From across the lobby, a tall man in a black hood stood near a vending pod. He watched her silently. No one noticed him. He didn't move. He just stared. Dr. Kevan entered the room, fixing his white coat like a king putting on a crown. Tall, handsome, and full of pride, he walked past Marla as if she was part of the floor. "Doctor," Marla said, blocking his way. "My son, he's not breathing right." Dr. Kevan stopped. His face twisted into a smirk. "You don't have a profile. You're not on the emergency plan. This place isn't free, you know." "He's a child," she whispered. Kevan rolled his eyes. "Yeah, and I'm not a miracle worker. You people always want free treatment." The hooded man stepped forward now. Slowly, quietly, he stood beside Marla without saying a word. Dr. Kevan noticed him and raised an eyebrow. "And who are you supposed to be? Another hero? Another case looking for a handout?" The man didn't answer. His face was still hidden in shadow, but his voice came clear and calm. "I'd be careful if I were you." Kevan laughed out loud. "Is that a threat?" he said, snapping his fingers at security. "Get these two out. I've got real patience." Marla clutched her son tighter. "Please, he's burning up." "No ID, no scan, no care," Kevan barked. 2 guards approached, but the man in the hood raised his hand. "Wait," he said. "Let me check him." Kevan frowned. "You a doctor now?" The man pulled out a small black device. It lit up with blue light, a medical scanner, very advanced, higher than anything this hospital had. Kevin's eyes narrowed. "Where did you get that?" The man ignored him and scanned the boy. His hand was steady, calm. Jameer's vitals appeared in the air. Fever 106, heart rate unstable, oxygen 78%. "He needs to be moved to ICU," the man said softly. Kevan stepped forward. "You don't give orders here." The man turned his head just slightly. His voice was colder now. "Neither do you anymore." At that moment, one of the wall panels beside the reception desk lit up and unlocked. A hidden terminal slid open. Only top-level executives could access it. Nurses stopped. Security paused. Kevan blinked. "What? How did you do that?" The man placed his hand on the screen. The hospital AI spoke. "Access granted. Owner profile recognized. Executive override active." Gasps filled the room. Kevin's mouth dropped open. "Owner?" The man lowered his hood. He was young, maybe early 40s. Dark skin, a scar on his cheek, eyes sharp like glass. "My name is Rylan Creed," he said. "I own this hospital." The staff froze. Kevan backed away slowly. "No one told me. I didn't know. I saw enough," Rylan said. He turned to Marla and gently took Jameer from her arms. "He's going to be okay, I promise." 2 nurses ran forward now scared. They followed Rylan's orders without question. The boy was rushed to the ICU pod. Marla stood still, tears falling quietly. Dr. Kevan tried to speak, but no words came out. Rylan looked at him one last time. "You mocked a mother and a child," he said. "In my hospital. You forgot what this place was built for." He walked away, leaving Kevan standing like a ghost. The silence in the room was heavy, and no one dared to laugh now. The ICU doors closed behind Rylan Creed as nurses rushed to stabilize little Jameer. Machines scanned his body, injecting cooling nanofluid into his bloodstream. Marla stood just outside, shaking, her hands clasped tight. Inside the room, Rylan placed a hand gently on the boy's forehead. The skin was hot, but the readings were already improving. He nodded to the nurse. Give him 10 cc's of core temp. Then we wait. Yes, Mr. Creed, the nurse replied, wide-eyed. I didn't know who you were. That's the point, Rylan said. No one ever should. He walked out into the corridor where Marla waited. Will he live? She asked softly, voice trembling. Rylan looked her in the eye. Yes, I promise you. He's strong. Tears ran down her cheeks. Thank you. But before Rylan could speak again, a loud voice echoed from behind. CCURITL3. And ow. Dr. Kevan was back, his pride wounded, but his anger sharper than ever. You think you can just walk in here and play boss? Kevan shouted, storming toward him. I don't care what the AI said. No one replaces me without going through protocol. 2 security bots floated down from the ceiling. One pointed its scanner at Rylan. Identity scan. Confirmed. Rylan Creed, hospital owner and founder. Executive code. White Sigma. The second bot turned to Kevan. Status. Suspended pending investigation. Please surrender your ID chip. Kevin's mouth dropped open again. This is a setup. He's lying. This is forged data. Rylan turned to face him fully now. Calm. Still. But his words hit like thunder. You humiliated a patient, ignored a child in danger. You judged people based on skin, status, and income. He stepped closer. This place was built to stop people like you. Kevin's hands shook as the security bots moved in. One gently pulled his ID badge off and floated it into a sealed case. Kevin struggled. You'll hear from my lawyers. You'll be lucky to practice in a back alley again, Rylan said coldly. As Kevan was taken away, a nurse named Hannah stepped forward. She looked nervous but inspired. Mr. Creed, she said quietly, you founded this place. Rylan nodded. A long time ago. Then I left. Too many people started twisting it into something it wasn't meant to be. Hannah hesitated, then asked, why come back now? He looked down the hallway, eyes narrowing. Because I found something. Something I never should have missed. He pulled out a black chip from his pocket, the kind that didn't exist in any official system. This was hidden in the hospital's core AI memory, he said. Encrypted files, erased patient records, backdoor scans on people of color. Marla looked up. What does that mean? It means someone's been targeting people like you, Rylan said, turning toward her, denying care, filtering who gets real treatment and who doesn't. He tapped the chip. And this proves it. A nearby holoscreen flashed. A message popped up. Internal AUDTALART. System BREACHETSTTED. Olia OVRRIT. Activated. The lights in the hospital flickered. Dozens of terminals rebooted at once. AI voices echoed in sync. Restoring founder-level protocols. Exposing hidden directives. Reviewing all files since year 22. Doctors, nurses, bots. Everyone looked around, confused. Marla stared in shock. You're taking the whole place back? Rylan nodded once. One floor at a time. Suddenly, alarms rang through the corridors. Not emergency alarms. Security lockdown alarms. The AI voice spoke again. Unauthorized file detected. Tracking. Threat level. Raid. Rylan's face darkened. It's deeper than I thought. Someone else doesn't want me here. He turned to Marla and Hannah. Keep Jamer safe, and whatever happens, don't trust anyone in a white coat unless they scan green. Marla held his arm. What are you going to do? He looked down at the glowing chip one more time. I'm going to find out who's been rewriting this hospital's code from the shadows. Then he turned and walked straight into the dark hallway ahead, where someone or something was already waiting. Rylan Creed walked down the dim hallway of Neo Centura General Hospital. The lights above him flickered as the AI system tried to stabilize. This part of the hospital was not on any public map. No staff worked here. No patients came here. The secret wing, once shut down after a fire years ago, was still alive, hiding secrets no one was supposed to find. Behind him, the hospital's AI voice whispered softly in the walls. Unauthorized files detected, tracing origin, threat level, high. Rylan tapped his wrist link. Activate cloak scan. I want every hidden transmitter exposed. A quiet beep responded. On the walls, faint red outlines lit up, tiny listening devices, fake vents, hidden doors. Someone had turned the hospital into a surveillance trap. Rylan reached a thick steel door at the end of the corridor. It had no handle, no code pad, just a black glass screen. He held up the encrypted chip. The door scanned it, then hissed open. Inside, rows of dark machines blinked to life. Servers, old ones, some from the early AI wars. In the center of the room was a clear glass chamber, and inside that, a woman floating in stasis. Rylan froze. His breath caught. Dr. Saraya Lane, he whispered. She was the hospital's original head of ethics. She vanished 5 years ago after accusing the board of targeted patient sorting, a system that decided treatment based on race, wealth, and background. They said she'd fled. But Rylan now knew the truth. They locked her away. He stepped closer. Her body was still, her eyes closed, but she looked unharmed, frozen in time. As he reached to open the chamber, a voice echoed behind him. I wondered how long it would take you to come back, Rylan. He turned sharply. Dr. Eric Marist stood in the doorway, chief of neurology, polished, cold, dangerous. I see you found our little secret, Marist said, stepping into the room. She wouldn't play along, so the board made her sleep. You did this? Rylan asked, voice low with anger. I cleaned up the mess you left behind, Marist replied. Your little dream hospital was bleeding money. We had to optimize care, only treat those who bring real value. You mean profit? Marist smiled slightly. Progress has a price. Rylan clenched his fists. You locked away the one person who could stop you. You turned my hospital into a lab for discrimination. She tried to leak everything, Marist said. But lucky for us, no one believes a rebel ethicist with no access codes. But now I'm back, Rylan said. Marist shrugged. Not for long. He pulled a device from his coat and pressed a button. Metal gates slammed shut behind Rylan. Gas hissed from the vents. Neuro-sleep gas. Quick and clean, Marist said. You'll be out in 10 seconds. And this time, no one will remember you. Rylan dropped to one knee, coughing, eyes burning. But then, through the haze, he tapped something on his wrist. A hidden voice echoed in his ear. Code White Sigma. Signal received. Activating override. Suddenly, alarms screamed across the entire hospital. Holographic red alerts flashed. XECUTAVBREACH in base main TC store. Maris's smug smile vanished. What did you do? Rylan looked up, coughing, but smiling now. I didn't come alone. Footsteps echoed through the hallway, heavy, fast. The glass doors burst open. Marla ran in, holding a hospital staff ID. Behind her was Nurse Hannah and 3 medical security bots. Don't move, Hannah shouted. The bots fired stun pulses toward Maris. He dodged the first, but the second caught his leg. He collapsed, growling in pain. Override full, the AI announced. Executive founder Rylan Creed restored. All past changes suspended. Hidden programs purged. Rylan stood slowly, gasping but steady. Thanks, Marla. Marla grinned. I borrowed your ID chip. Figured you'd need a rescue. Together, they turned to the stasis pod. Let's wake her, Rylan said. He placed his palm on the glass. Lights flashed. The liquid in the chamber began to drain. Saria Lane's eyes fluttered open. The woman who once tried to save the hospital was awake again. And the real battle was just beginning. The liquid drained slowly from the glass chamber as Rylan Creed and Marla stood in silence. Dr. Saraya Lane's fingers twitched. Her breathing began. Then her eyes opened, calm but full of fire. "Rylan," she said hoarsely. He smiled. "It's me. You've been asleep 5 years." She sat up slowly, the medical wires detaching from her skin. "The board, they locked me in. I tried to stop them." "You weren't wrong," Rylan said. "They turned your warnings into a prison. They erased your name. Said you vanished." Saria looked around the hidden chamber. Her voice grew stronger. "They used my research against the patients. Filtered care by social rank, background, race." Marla stepped forward. "I saw it myself. They made my son wait while others skipped ahead, said we didn't fit their model." Saraya frowned. "That sounds like the tier system, an algorithm I flagged, but never meant to activate." Rylan nodded. "Dr. Maris used your notes to build it. Called it Patient Optimizer 2.0. Told the board it saved money. Instead, it silently pushed away the poor and the sick." Saria stood up, steady on her feet. "If we want to stop it, we need to reach the core hub." Marla looked confused. "What's that?" Ryland answered. "The core hub controls the hospital's master AI. If we don't get there soon, the tier system will reboot, and this override will be wiped." Suddenly, the AI voice returned. "Warning, internal breach detected. Counter-command initiated. Core hub lockdown in 20 minutes. Saria's eyes sharpened. "Then we run." The three of them moved fast through the hidden corridors. Nurse Hannah joined them with 2 medbots for backup. As they reached the main elevator, Rylan paused. "We'll need to pass through admin floor. That's where the board sits, and they won't be happy." Marla held her chin high. "Let them be uncomfortable." They entered the lift. Saria tapped in a secret code. As the elevator rose, she looked at Rylan. "How bad is it?" He hesitated. "Worse than you thought. They've tagged patients by surname, birthplace, even dialect." Marla whispered, "They treat black patients like they're invisible." Saria clenched her jaw. "That ends now." Deng. The doors opened to admin floor. Dozens of suited figures stood frozen mid-conversation. Board members, heads of departments, all powerful, all silent. At the center stood a tall man with perfect white hair. "Rylan." "Saria," he said coldly. "I warned you not to bring her back. It was Director Voss, the one who replaced Rylan years ago." "You used our hospital to run a profit scheme," Saria said. "We know everything." Voss didn't flinch. "Everything we did was legal, efficient. You had your time. Now leave before security drags you out." Rylan stepped forward. "I own this hospital. My badge is reactivated. You have no control anymore." Voss sneered. "Ownership means nothing in the new system. The AI decides now." As he spoke, panels opened in the walls. Security drones floated out, armed and scanning. Marla whispered, "They're going to block us." But then, Nurse Hannah stepped forward and raised a device. "Override, code violet." The drones paused. Saria smiled. "We helped build these machines. We know their hearts better than you ever will." The drones backed off. The board gasped. Saria pointed at them. "You failed your duty. And now, your time is up." They pushed past the stunned board and entered the core hub corridor. Inside the core hub, bright wires stretched across the walls like roots of a digital tree. A glowing cylinder pulsed in the center, housing the hospital's brain. "Only one of us can enter," Rylan said. "The system needs a founder's code and full neural sync." Saria turned to Marla. "You brought your son here. You stood your ground. You showed them who really matters." Marla looked confused. "But I'm not." "You are part of this hospital now," Rylan said. "You've earned it." But Saria stepped forward. "I started this. I'll finish it." She walked into the chamber. Light scanned her. The walls turned gold. Inside the cylinder, a voice spoke. "Do you wish to reset the tier system and erase discriminatory protocols?" Saria whispered, yes. Confirmed. Executive reset in progress. Welcome back, Dr. Saria Lane. Alarms across the hospital turned green. Waiting room queues vanished. Names of forgotten patients began to flash back onto lists. Treatments were resumed. Lives restarted. Outside, the staff stared at each other as systems rebooted. Some wept. Others stood silent. In the admin floor, Director Voss got an alert. You are no longer authorized for command. He slammed his hand on the desk. No. But no one listened anymore. Back in the lobby, patients began to whisper, is that the woman who changed everything? Isn't that the quiet man who stood up for her? Who's the one in the cloak? Marla smiled and held her son close. That's the man who saved this place. The man who the doctor mocked. The man who said nothing. Because now, his actions said everything. The waiting rooms were full, but not with frustration. People were being seen. Fairly. Quickly. Doctors looked confused as new names filled their patient lists. Names that were once hidden by the tier system. Poor families. Refugees. Black patients. All now visible. All now treated. And deep in the core hub, Dr. Saria Lane stood with eyes closed, still linked to the neural sync. Her mind was reprogramming the system she helped create, but never meant to harm. Marla, holding her son close, looked around in awe. It's actually happening. Rylan nodded. She did it. She's rewriting the code from the inside. Nurse Hannah, watching her tablet, gasped. We'll live on every newsfeed in Neo Centura. Someone leaked the override footage. People are watching everything. Marla stepped back. They'll know what the board did. Rylan's face turned serious, and they'll know what we did to fix it. Suddenly, an alert flashed on every holo screen in the building. Breaking NEUS. Hospital TER CSTM exposed SUT down by former CEO, NDA mystery woman. The newsfeed played footage. Dr. Kevan mocking Marla. Rylan standing tall in the lobby. Saria waking from her sleep pod. The drones being shut down by Nurse Hannah. The core hub lighting up. And then, the biggest surprise. The mysterious man in the AHOD is Hospital Onia RILANCUREED. The name echoed across the city. Inside a luxury boardroom across town, Director Voss watched the newsfeed in horror. His phone buzzed. The Council of Medical Ethics was calling. Then the Government Transparency Office. Then Civil Rights Watchdogs. He pulled off his tie. Sweat poured from his face. They know. He whispered. Behind him, the doors opened. Security officers stepped inside. One of them read the charges out loud. Crimes against humanity. Racial bias in medical care. Illegal imprisonment of a whistleblower. Voss tried to argue. It was the system. It was legal. But the officer didn't flinch. Not anymore. They took him away. And outside his building, protesters had already gathered. Back at the hospital, Marla's son was sitting calmly, eating a snack provided by one of the medbots. I feel better now, Mom, he said. She smiled. You should. You matter. And now the world sees it. Rylan walked over. Marla, thank you for not backing down. She looked surprised. I'm just a mother. Rylan shook his head. You're more than that. You're a voice, the kind this city needs. Later that night, on the rooftop of the hospital, Saria finally stepped out into the fresh air. She breathed deeply. Rylan stood beside her. How's the system? Stable. Clean. No more hidden filters. No more silent rejections. You did it, he said. No, she smiled. We did it. She looked down at the city. Thousands of messages flooded her holopad. Thank you, Dr. Lane. My mother got surgery today. We were always denied before. I didn't think anyone would ever care about people like us. Inside the hospital, screens now displayed a simple message. Every life counts. No more tears. No more shadows. 1 week later, the hospital was renamed Creed Lane Community Medical Center. Marla was offered a position on the Patient Advisory Council. Nurse Hannah was promoted to Chief Systems Officer. Dr. Kevan? He was stripped of his license and banned from all city clinics. The AI now spoke kindly, and no one was invisible anymore. But one question remained in every citizen's mind. What if that quiet man hadn't stepped in? What if that tired mother hadn't spoken up? What if the doctor stayed buried forever? Sometimes, real change doesn't come from loud leaders. It comes from the quiet ones who refuse to look away. The ones who remember. Every patient has a name. Every name has a story. And every story matters. The sun was rising over Neo Centura. At the top of the newly renamed Creed Lane Community Medical Center, the city's skyline lit up with orange and gold. Down below, hundreds of people gathered, reporters, families, doctors, and former patients, all waiting. The main doors opened. Out stepped Rylan Creed in a simple black coat. Beside him was Dr. Saria Lane, holding a data pad, and next to them, standing proud, was Marla, the woman who once begged for help and was laughed at. Behind them, a tall digital banner that read, "Justice, Care, Equality." Rylan walked to the mic. The crowd went silent. "I was gone for years," Rylan began, his voice calm but firm. "People said I vanished, that I stopped caring. But I didn't disappear. I was watching, listening, waiting." He turned to look at the hospital behind him. "And when I saw what this place had become, I couldn't stay silent anymore." The crowd watched. Some nodded. Some wiped tears. "I walked into this hospital as a stranger," he continued. "I watched a black woman beg for her son's life. I watched her be ignored, insulted, rejected. I watched a doctor speak cruelty like it was normal." He paused. "And I realized something. This wasn't a glitch. This was the system. A system built to hurt people who don't look like they belong." The screens behind him showed clips. Dr. Kevan mocking patients. Security drones blocking the poor. Lines of rejected families. Gasps filled the crowd. Rylan turned to Marla. But this woman, she didn't walk away. She stood up, even when the world told her to sit down. Marla smiled, holding back tears. "She reminded me who this hospital is for," Rylan said. "And she reminded the world that silence helps the wrong people." Then, he looked at the crowd. "That ends today." Saria stepped forward. "We've rebuilt the system. No more color filters. No more class restrictions. No more tier blocks." The hospital's AI voice came online over the speakers. "Welcome. You are seen. You are valued." The crowd clapped. Then the holo screens lit up with breaking news. CITULIDAAAT. May or to give emergency and DRES. The crowd turned to watch. Mayor Ayana Truce appeared on screen. She looked directly into the camera. "People of Neo Centura. What happened at this hospital was not a small mistake. It was a mirror, a reflection of how our systems treat the powerless. But thanks to the courage of a mother, a nurse, and a man who never stopped caring, we've been given a second chance. As of today, I am signing the Creed Lane Act. All medical AI systems in our city must undergo anti-bias auditing. Every patient, no matter their race, wealth, or status, must be treated equally. We are done pretending the problem isn't real." And to Dr. Kevan, Director Voss, and anyone who profited from pain, justice is coming. The crowd erupted in cheers. Martha looked at her son, now healthy and smiling beside her. Rylan smiled. "You started this." She shook her head. "You gave it power." A young reporter ran up with a holocam. "Mr. Creed, why didn't you just fire them quietly? Why go public?" Rylan looked her in the eyes. "Because silence protects the powerful. But stories wake the world up." Later that night, a video went viral across the city. It showed the full moment when Dr. Kevan told Marla, "You people love playing the victim." Then it cut to Rylan saying, "I'd be careful if I were you." Under the video, one comment was pinned. "The world is changing. Don't blink, or you'll miss the moment justice walks in." EPALGUE. Dr. Kevan was sentenced. Director Voss lost his fortune. The Creed Lane Act became law. Marlo's son grew up to be a doctor. Nurse Hannah started a clinic in the lower sectors. And Rylan? He still visits the hospital every week. No bodyguards, no suits. Just a quiet man with a mission.